Mr. Golis,
Here.
Mr. Vukotic,
Here.
Ms. Andrews,
Here.
Mr. Reed,
Here.
Chairman Rowe.
Here. Can I get approval of the August 24th, 2022 regular meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Vukotic,
Yes.
Mr. Golis,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews,
Yes.
Chairman Rowe.
Yes. All right, so this is a board of five. Obviously, we're all here this month, so once I call your variance request, just step up to the podium, make sure you state your name, you're signed in, and then give us a little bit of information about the request that you're looking for. With that, you'll need 3 yes votes for your variance to be accepted. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Our first waiver is W1685-22, waiver of ordinance 069-2020, section 1155.01A, relating to accessory uses and structures. Location is 2507 Pickle Road. The applicant owner is Lisa Herrera.
Chairman Rowe, they withdrew their application.
Well, thanks. Thanks for letting me know before I read them. Good. All right, our next waiver is W1690-22, waiver of ordinance 182-2006, sections 1155.04B2A and 1155.04B7A, related to private swimming pools. Location is 1918 Garner Avenue. Applicant owner is Tammy Minor.
Hi, I'm Tammy Minor.
Okay. Go ahead and give us a little bit of background about the variance request you're looking for.
Okay, the pool's been up for 12 years. This is the first year there was ever a question on where it was located. I moved it back the 10 feet that they requested. I move it back. Now, it hasn't come within whatever foot of the side fence because we still have a tree stump there. And they can't take it down while it's damp. They said I have to wait until it's dried out or it'll damage their equipment. Then it will go over to where we requested.
All right, so Mark, so I visited the site earlier. It looks like she's got it pushed back, so the 10-foot is not in question. Are we here strictly for the 1-foot?
Yeah,
side yard
just
setback?
the setback from the property line would be the question there along the property, adjoining property.
Which is typically 3 foot.
It's 5 foot.
It's 5 foot on that side. All right. Is that for a maintenance type issue for vegetation and so forth?
I think drainage and maintenance is probably what
Okay.
their concern is.
All right. Any other questions from the board?
Am I understanding right? It's just a temporary thing because you are going to move it into compliance with the code?
Yeah, it's gonna go more towards the fence. Simply, like I said, we couldn't do it because there is a tree stump there. The stump guy will not remove it while it's damp and it's been a rainy season.
So once the stump is removed, you're moving it away from the fence farther?
No, it'll be,
Still.
right now, it's further away from the fence. It's going closer. to the fence.
So the 10-foot has been solved.
Right, it's still gonna be the
1 foot.
1 foot from the fence. Right now, it's about, 4 foot from the fence because of the stump.
Correct. If she goes 5 foot, she'll be into her garage.
Yeah.
So she's basically trying to equal it out on either side of the garage and the fence. So I guess with 1 foot there, what are the concerns about maintaining grass and so forth, making sure that you're able to get there between the fence and the pool?
It's always been 1 foot between the pool and the fence. All it's doing is moving back, but still gonna stay 1 foot. It's always been 1 foot from the fence.
But you're not gonna have an issue getting in there and cleaning and maintaining that yard?
No,
Just, cause obviously you won't get a mower through it, so.
right.
So the tree removals is what's stopping you from moving
Right.
it farther from the house?
Correct. It's away from the house, the 10
Right.
feet. It just can't go back to the 1 foot from the fence because the stump is right there.
Why am I not following?
You're here because of the 1 foot, so if you would have visited, so that if you would saw the pool now, it's
So
further than
she
1
moved
foot
the
away.
pool. She's no longer appealing the 10 foot from the house. She's just
Correct.
appealing the 5 foot.
That is not currently done. That's what's
Correct.
gonna happen when the
Wait.
tree comes down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I
Okay.
misinterpreted. I thought she said it, he moved it from the 10 foot. She was waiting to move it once the tree was down.
Well, the tree is the issue along the
I get
fence,
it
I
now.
think. She wants to move it closer to the fence. So right now, it's almost right up against the garage. So
Correct.
So it's 1 foot now, and she would like to have it remain 1 foot now from the side.
what's that? Dave?
It was
Yeah.
until we had to move it back. And with moving it back, it went to where like this much of the pool is over the tree stump.
All right. So it's just a variance of 4 feet from the property line.
Correct.
Okay,
That's it.
On just one side.
right.
Any other questions from the board? Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? With that, I would entertain a motion.
I have one more question for Mark.
Yes.
When we left this last month, it was kind of like you had other issues besides the pool.
Correct. Yep.
Did
There was
they
a
get it?
public nuisance that we had established. that
Did
property.
they,
She's been
and that's
working
kind
on
of
it.
why we benched it.
Yeah,
shelved
I
it
think
for a
that was
month.
part of it, yeah. So the yard has been improved. There has been some progress. Things have been cleaned up, so.
Okay.
All right, with no other questions from the board, nobody else here to speak for or against the matter, would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve waiver 1690-22.
I'll support.
Roll call.
Mr. Vukovic,
Yes.
Mr. Andrus,
Yes.
Mr. Golis,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Chairman Rowe.
Yes. All right, you're all set.
Thank you.
Next waiver is W 1691-22, waiver of ordinance 162-1984, section 1109.07A relating to nonconformities. The location is 2180 Otakee Street. The applicant is Jeff Gartz for owner Harborview Yacht Club. Go ahead, state your name, address, and make sure you're signed in, and then give us a little bit of variance request.
Jeff Gartz, 2742 Wilkins Road, Swanton, Ohio. What it is for a hallway we're gonna put at the end of the club, end up hooking a cooler to it. And basically, its part's gonna be 6 foot in Oregon.
Mark, I need a lot of help, because I got
Okay.
no sketches, I got no drawing,
So
I got none of
if you
that.
look at this, actually, most of it's gonna be in the village of Harborview. So, there's only a small section of 5 by 6, is approximately what we determined that would be in the city of Oregon. So, the rest would be under the county, correct, Dave? You guys, I know you talked with Jim about it, right?
So Jim and I had some conversations about this because it's a unique project because the Harborview Yacht Club is in City of Oregon's jurisdiction, but the property next to it, which is the village of Harborview, is in Lucas County's jurisdiction. So the building addition is actually going to cross not only a property line, but jurisdictional line.
Okay.
As far as building departments go. So what the state says in cases like that is work it out. And so my thoughts, and Jim agreed with me, is that since the Harborview's Yacht Club building is in Oregon and all the records pertaining to that main building or with this building department, the addition should stay with it as well. It'd be silly for us to make a new file for just an addition. So what we agreed to do was have City of Oregon Building Department handle the building official and inspection duties, and Lucas County is going to perform the plan review.
Okay.
And the applications will all go through City of Oregon.
So and obviously we're here because it's an existing non-conforming building and we're increasing that.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the only issue.
If it wasn't a non-conforming current structure, it wouldn't be an issue.
It may be with some of the setbacks, but
We're not,
we're not really worried about it. Yeah, really the issue is just that it's a non-conforming building. So if you change anything, it'd have to come before the board.
we're not exceeding any of the existing, I mean, obviously on the south side, we're not exceeding their existing setback line from the building because it's not encroaching that direction. So it's just the east side. All right. Any additional questions from the board? Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter?
You know, that's a nice picture, but there's a house right in front of that sketch, I guess you call it. I understand the part where part of it's in Oregon. That was explained to me earlier. It just seems the yacht club has all this big property and they got to set this big cooler next to the street, which is next to a propane tank. I guess what I'm saying is there's very poor planning right now. And so I vote no on, I'd rather see a better planning on the whole thing. It just doesn't make sense to me. You got fire issues, exit issues and all that.
So all the building code issues will be, that's through what he's talking about, the plan review process. So that'll all be handled and reviewed at that part. So what we're here for tonight is strictly the zoning part of this.
So the zoning is, okay, we can build this?
Zoning is basically with regards to zoning code in the city of Oregon, which we've already been, that's been explained that we're going to handle that part of this, but the building code issues will be required to be submitted through Lucas County.
Okay, so you're just saying because it's a residential little sliver that you gotta have this meeting?
No, you brought up fire, you brought up egress, that'll all be handled in the building code review, which is done by the plan, which would be done by Lucas County. So I'm addressing those two comments that you just talked about.
It just seems kind of funny that they put that right in front of the residents when they got all that property to, slide it in somewhere else. That's all I'm saying.
And it's part of that as well. So they'll have to have exterior elevations. They'll have to show that they comply. So again, all that materials and everything will still be reviewed at that plan review process.
Will that come back to a public hearing?
Unless they're looking for a variance on that particular, on anything building code related, and the variance process would go through the county.
Okay, so,
That's where it is.
so it's a Lucas County issue, not a,
For the building code compliance. Correct.
okay.
And we're only worried about the section that's actually in Oregon. The rest would be Harborview. So we're not dealing with that.
So you're doing a variance just for that little section?
Correct.
For
Yep.
tonight?
Correct.
Mr. Chairman, if I could clarify
Yeah.
one more point, that since it's in two jurisdictions, there's also two zoning departments that are looking at it. So right now, they're asking for a variance for the little section that goes up to the property line here in the city of Oregon. The other side of it is the village of Harborview. And they have already issued a certificate of zoning compliance for that, for an approval. So for their portion that's in the village. So, and the zoning just says where it can be located on the property.
Okay.
So Lucas County is gonna perform the plan review, which will look at, firewalls, egress, things like that.
So you're just saying that they can build a building anywhere on that Harborview area?
Well,
It's
no,
approved to build something there somewhere. is
so
what you're
again, there's two separate jurisdictions. So we're here just for Oregon.
Right.
So Oregon's portion is just, how far from the building approximately, do you know? About 6 feet.
Yeah.
So between the building, 6 feet to the east is where the line's at. So
Okay.
tonight, we're only talking about that first 6 feet.
Oh, okay. All right.
Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter?
I know your name's not Tina, but I was wondering, how do you get those pictures up there? Do you have to scan those or something?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, these are all submitted to us prior to the meeting.
Yeah, I'll fill this out here. Mr. Zemensky's my name. What, for a normal home or a business, what would be the setback from a zoning line or building line for the back of a parcel or a lot in Oregon? What would be the normal setback?
Different for every different use.
Yeah, it would
There's
vary
no
per
zoning.
property. I'd have to look at it. That's why we're not really here for that. The issue at hand is that the building is existing non-conforming. Once you change it, then we would ask for a variance. So anything they basically did to that building on the exterior, we recall.
Like a side, like if you wanted to put up a building or a garage or a shed from the side lot, what would that be?
Well, it would depend. Shed would be 3 foot if it's from the property lines. A garage, depending whether it's attached to the structure or it's separate, could change.
So what would a garage be for a sideline?
Usually, say if it's attached, it would have to be 5 or 8 feet, depending on.
Okay, 5 or 8 feet. So now you're actually approving zero setback, right? 0 feet setback.
Well, it's dependent on, I guess, if you look at the lot, and even though it's over 2 jurisdictions, I'd have to take a look at it. I think it's fine. Let's see.
Do you have a,
You look at, do we have the Aries picture up there, JT? We put that up there? That would.
yeah, it doesn't show that. Do you have a laser pointer? And it works. I think. Well, I gotta hold it down. Okay, by the way, I'm a licensed surveyor, so
Okay,
I know where the lots are and where the lines are, and I lived there for 30 years, so.
okay.
So could we have the other picture that is, that one, yeah. Okay. This is the property line right here where the fence is. So the only thing that you're approving is the shed roof that's already there.
Yes,
You're not approving none of this,
correct.
although the application says that you are. You're approving the zoning for that. It says,
I believe that was already clarified. That's been approved within the village, correct, Dave?
That's correct.
So that's already been approved.
okay. And what is that dimension right there? This is 11, and this is 9? Okay, so, but in here it said 8 by 10 cooler attached hallway. So it's really not, it's a 9 by 11. Okay, with this attached hallway, which is, would be 12 and 18. So it's a total of 18 foot that comes out here. So you got 0 setback that you're approving. And I don't think that's for the zoning code. And then this is only 12 foot. So what you have, this is the narrowest, I assume in Oregon, the narrowest road where traffic goes down through here, children on bikes and whatever. And so you're cluttering this bottleneck and the other properties here. So I didn't know what it was going to look like, Mr. Gilmore, but I did make a sketch. So is that similar to what it's going to look like?
It's gonna be a split base black wall with a slab and a cooler sits on it. It's not a building, it's a 5-foot hall. All it
So this
is a hallway.
this is a slab here.
Yeah, all that's just slab.
Okay, does this stay here?
That's coming off.
This is coming off?
It'll be black walls runs down there roughly 18, 17 feet.
So this is block walls?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, so it's a building?
Hallway with the
Yeah.
cooler attached to it.
Okay, so, and the cooler's got a flat roof.
It's gonna sit on that concrete.
Okay. And so this, but,
The door will be inside the hallway.
so the hallway has a flat roof too? A slope roof? Okay. So maybe like that?
I guess for this board, regardless of building materials and roof structure and roof slope, I mean, that's not for this board to even review this evening. So I guess back to the concern you have regarding what now, the lot line, 0 lot line?
Right, but it sounds like you're approving something that's not per the zoning code.
That is correct. We're addressing the entire,
Okay, so you're,
the entire, so I believe it's already an encroachment, so we're just extending on what was there, what's pre-existing, we're adding to it. So that's part of the variance is the setback issue as well, even though it's not stated.
okay, so,
So that 6 feet mark, that's existing, that's there now.
Right,
And so we're swapping 1 for 1.
correct.
That's what I thought. Okay.
so this is, right here, this would be the gutter or the curb. So 2 cars cannot pass here because it's only 12 foot wide. So this is like a bottleneck, and of course you're going to have, I assume, beer trucks will unload there, right?
Everyone's been going there for 35 years, that I know that. They pull in the same spot once a week.
Okay, so,
That's the end of our kitchen right there, at the end of that door.
yeah. Well, anyhow, that's all I'm saying is you're not approving the zoning.
Correct. That's why we're here for a variance to an existing non-conforming building.
So you are approving this section, this 6 by 6 foot shed.
Correct.
Correct.
It's there now and we're replacing it with new construction.
Yeah.
And they're requesting a variance for that because if it was in compliance with the zoning code, they wouldn't have to be here tonight.
So you're, so you're not approving the cooler.
No,
So
that goes
You're
again through the building
approving-
department.
a 0 setback instead of the normal, sometimes they're 20 or 10 or whatever. I guess that would be.
So
the
we're not
back.
even here. I mean, we're here to strictly talk about that
Okay.
piece that's existing that's there now. We're demolishing that and they're putting new piece back. The majority of that addition is not even in this jurisdiction.
Because this whole, maybe I could just leave this picture with you. Sorry it takes so long. The red is what you're approving.
Correct. Yep.
Just that little red spot. right
Yes,
I could leave that here.
okay.
So, I'm sorry. I was just kind of seeing that there is a big approval with a little approval. So you're blessing the whole thing.
We're not. We're here strictly for that little piece. The rest of this has already been approved by the
So
village.
it's only about 6 foot out. So you're just approving this, but it says here to be allowed,
We have no jurisdiction. We're here to,
but you said that you would.
we're
Eventually
here
you would.
strictly for the stuff that is
Okay,
in the city.
okay. So, but your blessing, gives, it seems like it's the cart is in front of the horse. The horse is the cooler. That should be
There's two-
approved first.
It's already been approved.
The cooler's been approved?
That
The
part of
zoning
zoning
in-
has been
Yeah,
approved.
the zoning in Harborview, Dave, is already.
Yes, the Village of Harborview
Okay, that's what I need
approved
to know.
that
Yeah, they
cooler
already approved it.
So the
location.
Harborview approved the location in the cooler?
Yep, and the connector that's in the village.
Okay, so they're the ones that are saying that there's zero setbacks, because normally on a road, set a house back, it'd be 40 foot, from the, or something from the right of way. It's a big amount. It's not 5 feet, because you got traffic coming down through there. So I guess if Harborview wants it, there's but that's not approved, right?
According to what we know, and Dave said that they already talked to the Village of Harborview and they've approved the zoning for the
Okay,
rest.
There's nothing in writing.
I,
Okay, so here's your. I just wanted to see what was going on behind the scenes, because you don't know, because that
Sure.
little thing doesn't approve everything. So you're approving the cooler and this in writing here. I know
No.
you say you're
No.
not.
No, we're just approving the section. I think the confusion may be, we didn't get the site plan till later, and then we realized the other section was in Harborview, so maybe the verbiage is a little wrong on how it's written on the letter that you received.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the kids, because my little brother was killed on the other end of the building.
Okay,
So there's a lot of traffic down through there, children, pedestrians, and, bicycles and those skateboards and electric skateboards. There's a lot of traffic that goes down through there all the time. So you're bottlenecking a bottleneck that's the smallest one in Oregon already. So you're pushing everything together. And everybody has to go slow through there because they can't, because they'll crash into the guard posts on the corner of the building. So it is, misleading as a whole. But-
Again, we're here just for, the part that's in the city. The other part would be handled by the village.
Yeah, so, but at the other end, it floods all the time, nobody dealt with that, but we're gonna fix this over here
Again,
for beer, but we're not gonna fix the road that floods in the front all the time, it turns to ice
I'm
in
not-
the winter.
I wouldn't know about that. It's not what we're here for tonight.
I understand,
But if you definitely have issues, you can bring them back up to building and zoning if they're in the city's property. If not, I guess the village.
yeah. But like I said, I'm a surveyor, so I like to see numbers and stuff. And you're not saying what the setback should supposed to be, and we're approving that because, in fact, my dad actually was instrumental in building the place before there was zoning laws. But the reason that he worked on that building was to make a place for the public and for the children to have a place to play, because that's what it was for in the first place. And so he protected the children, made the basketball court on the other end of the building for the children. That was all his doing. But now the children are blocked out, and now they have to play in the street. So now you're bottlenecking a bottleneck, making it smaller and not protecting the children.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? With that, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve waiver 1691-22.
Support.
Roll call.
Ms. Figutich,
Yes.
Ms. Andrus,
Yes.
Mr. Golis,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Chairman Rowe.
Yes. You're all set. Next waiver is W1692-22, waiver of ordinance 269-2001, sections 1127.02 relating to permitted uses. The location is 2072 West Baywood Drive. The applicant, Mark Rigg, for owners Michael Meggett and Tracy Obermeyer.
Yep.
How we doing?
Make sure you state your name, your address, give us some background.
Mark Rigg, building the house on Baywood. We're tearing down two existing buildings. The existing buildings are basically on the lot line now, right? I mean, they are right on the corner. And I think if you look at where that house is now, and you look at when you look into the north, you kind of look right between two houses. Tearing that down, they envision putting it right back where it is. And then with the 30-foot setback, that pushes us up right even with the existing garage that we're working with. So it kind of blocks, there's a patio in the back of the house, a covered porch. And when we push it up, we're right in line with the garage to the north. We're going to tear that driveway out, front load it. And it takes away a lot of the view that they have through the bay. So we're improving the situation that's there. We're asking for 15-foot relief instead of going from a 30-foot complete backyard. We're looking for 15 so that we kind of will improve what's there now and still have a view of the lake between the houses to the north.
Questions from the board? Anybody here speak for or against the matter? Go ahead and step up to the podium. Make sure you're signed in, state your name, address. There's a letter too that was floating around, I think, in support of this.
JT has it.
Okay.
Yeah, hello, my name's Chris Morris. I live at 2053 West Baywood. My biggest concern about it is I'm really glad that they're improving the property, want to bring in a new home. I definitely welcome that. My thing is I live in a home that was built in, I believe, 99. And, you know, a lot of the rules were followed with the setbacks, front, back, and sideways. And the neighborhood itself is a mixed development of old homes and new homes. And how will the neighborhood ever become a more modern neighborhood if we keep allowing the variances of basically cottage level of what a lot of the older homes are? And I feel there's plenty of property there to hold the actual lot sizes, you know, front and back and to the sides. Because just, I mean, some rough calculations. I mean, if you had to do 30 foot in the back, 30 in the front, I mean, you build a 2-story home, mind you, this is on the floodplain. So this will have to be elevated. You still could be 3,200 square foot. Add a 2-car garage, you're still at what, 2,700 square foot living area? I mean, you could build a heck of a big home on there with no variance. And then, like you said, there's other homes that are older, and like I said, they keep getting, you know, I just don't understand all the variances all the time. I think going half the distance is too much because there's plenty of land there to build.
Thank you. Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter?
My name's Norman Abood. We actually own the property directly to the east on the backyard of the subject property. And then I own 2081 2080 East Baywood, which is directly across the street from those. On your map there, it's the 3 lots on Lakeway, and then coming to the south from Lakeway, directly behind the subject property. So our backyards adjoin. And then I'm in the house directly across the street on East Baywood. With regard to the setback, as noted, the existing building is literally, I don't know, 1.5 feet off the property line. So 15 feet, for my purposes, is a significant improvement. Number one. Number two, the outline of the, as I understand, the outline of the new structure, the back of the house will be 15 feet off of the lot line. And if I understand the existing codes, even if you had a 30-foot setback from the backyard line, you could still put a garage between the house towards that backyard line, which would bring automobiles, gasoline, so on and so forth, closer to the property line within the existing zoning code. With the current proposal, this is actually a safer situation because it'll be a residence without the automobiles and the gasoline, the lawnmowers, et cetera. And to address Chris's point, I understand what he's saying about the aesthetics and looking for uniformity. On the other hand, this is obviously a very mixed-use community in terms of the types of structures, where they're located. We've had to deal with it on other properties in that area. There's a lot of things that are in places where they're, well, you just dealt with one, that little roofed area at Harbor View that shouldn't have been there, but it's been there forever, so to speak. So, and that's part of the attractiveness of the community, is to have it not be like a perfectly structured, uniform subdivision. It is a lake community. There is a lot of variance. This will be bringing a significant improvement in the house that's there with the improved garage. It'll be a great addition, and I particularly would be looking forward to it being the adjoining property owner. So I'd ask that you approve it.
Thank you. Anybody else here speak for or against the matter?
Yeah, my name is Tom Morris, and I live at 2048 West Baywood, a few houses down. And my concern is every house, that new house, everything everybody's been building is with a 30-foot backyard. This is the only last house property that needs to be put where it should be. And there's a house across the street they built on a 40-foot lot. They got the 30-foot backyard. There's no reason, and it's all the lots around there are 40 by 110 average. You shouldn't change any plans for anything, because I have 8 lots out there that's empty. So, I mean, if you let one person do it, everybody else is going to do it. And what they're saying with this house, they're going to tear down. There was one right behind it, was only 1.5 feet from it. It got tore down. On my properties, I tore down 2 houses, and one was 2 foot on my property. That's how they used to build. They probably didn't have a codes back then or whatever. But everybody's house, if you go down, is 30 foot from the property lines, both sides of the street. That's the only house that's back. There's no reason for it not to have the 30-foot backyard like everybody else. And they're saying, well, they have a garage next to it to be even. Well, that's the way my house is. My garage is even with my house. It's on a side lot. You know, that's the way it should be. Then we won't have no more issues. Because you let one person do it, it's going to happen again. That's what I got to say. Thank you.
I got one more thing. If we were looking at we're looking at an 80-foot lot because we're combining it. And because we're dealing with new structure along with old structures, if we were starting with a clean lot, we wouldn't lay the house out and have the garage in our way. But when you're dealing with 3 existing buildings, you're already tearing down 2, trying to recover some money and save 1 building, and that's really the reason for the variance. If we weren't, we're combining that, we have an 80-foot lot, and they're trying to maintain some view of the lake. That's all I got.
Just like I said, he has a existing garage there, and my house, if you look, is even with my garage, and I got 120 foot, but I'm talking on the 80-foot side, it's the same deal. Straight up, where it should be. Everybody should have a 30-foot backyard. You're not on top of everybody else.
I think the point they're trying to make too is the fact that, I mean, if they were to remodel this existing house, they could keep it there as is. It'd be a 1.5 foot off one side yard and 2.5 feet off the rear yard. I mean, that's a decision they do have to do. So I think that's part of it, is that they're trying to better a situation that's there, but go ahead.
Yeah, and this is what Mr. Rigg was just talking about. You got your existing garage here. Here's your lake view, okay? There's a house here, but you've got open area here. So here's your lake, so you can see that. And then through here, you go over to the marina. My property's right here, and these properties here. So what he's saying is, by putting the house back a little bit here, 15 foot off this back line, that gives this house that they're proposing to build, which is an expensive home, lake view. That's why people come out here. Houses down here don't have that same situation with the ability to have direct lake view. So that's a significant incentive for people who want to spend money in Oregon and build a nice home to have those views. And that's, I think, what Mr. Rigg is saying about, that's what's the purpose of setting it back, in addition to what you mentioned, which is just improving the existing situation, which isn't all that traffic.
Thank you.
I disagree what was just said, because I live down 2 houses from there. I get up on my roof and clean my leaves and I can see the lake beautiful. I have a 1-story. If I raised it up or build a new one, I could see the lake perfectly too. Like I said, everybody else in the whole neighborhood has a 30-foot backyard. They're ripping down the house, moving up 30 foot, or like you said, rebuild the house where it's at, then you don't have no problem from the front, whatever you have to do. I'm asking that it should be with the whole rest of the neighborhood is at.
Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter?
My name is Clarence Sewell. I live next door to the property, 2064 West Baywood Drive. I see no problem. It does restrict my view, the way it's set up with it. The one building coming down is a garage. It will not be rebuilt. There is another garage on the property that they're going to go by. And I have no objections. And basically what I'm saying, it's proper. It's fine as far as I can see.
Thank you. Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter?
Hello, I'm Tracy Overmeyer. I am the owner of 2072 West Baywood. We are trying to make a better addition to the community by not utilizing the dilapidated home that's there. Another reason that we are asking to try to move it back is so it's more proportionate with the existing garage, so we can continue to use the existing garage since that's a newer structure. We are asking to do this also, so the way the porch is gonna be, where it would be as far as the road, it would be about where the existing small one-car garage would be, which would, in fact, as he stated, assist the neighbors as far as what they can see also. I ask for your consideration, and we look forward to becoming part of your community and trying to do what we can in order to better the community. And we look forward to being part of the Baywood, where we love the area and think there's a lot to offer to a lot of people. So thanks for your consideration.
Thank you. Anybody else here speak for or against the matter?
We did have that letter too. Did you-
What's that?
The letter.
Yeah, so there was a letter. JT, you can read it in.
The letter was submitted in lieu of their presence to the public hearing scheduled for September 28th, 2022, regarding a waiver of the rear setback of 15 feet to construct a single-family dwelling at 2071 West Baywood Drive, Oregon, Ohio, that will have a rear setback dwelling of 15 feet. I would like to advise that I have no objections to this request.
Thank you. With that, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we accept waiver 1692-22.
A second.
Roll call.
Mr. Fugitich?
Yes.
Mr. Golis?
Yes.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Chairman Rowe?
Yes. All right, you're all set. With that, we will adjourn the meeting at 5:47 PM.
So most of that.